Have you ever been out shopping, say at the grocery store or mall, and then saw someone who looks exactly like you? It's uncanny. You might even think they're your twin. But then you realize it can't be possible because you only have one. Or do you? What if your clone is walking around out there in the world without knowing it? In 1996, scientists at the Roslin Institute in Scotland successfully cloned a sheep named Dolly using a cell from an adult animal. This was groundbreaking news. Not only was this the first time scientists had cloned a mammal from an adult cell, but it also raised ethical questions about what to do with this new technology. Are we now capable of producing human clones? Would there be a market for them? How many people would want their own personal clone? As crazy as it sounds, some people actually do want their own clone. And as cloning technology advances, it may become more common. So, what if cloning did become normal? What are the pros and cons? Let's take a look. Human cloning has been a staple of science fiction for decades. In the 1960s, we had the island of Dr. Moreau. Then came the boys from Brazil in the 70s. More recently, we had the science-based series Orphan Black, starring the amazing Tatiana Maslany. These stories are cautionary tales of what could happen if humans were cloned. But how accurate are they? Scientists tell us that human cloning is possible today. The process is inefficient and dangerous. Even if you were willing to take the chance, it would cost millions of dollars. So, unless you're a wealthy individual or a government, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Let's imagine that cloning becomes normal and everyone who wants a clone can get one. How would this affect our society? Here are a few things to consider. The pros. You could clone your favorite celebrity. There are a lot of good-looking people in Hollywood, but they're all unique in their own way. Imagine having your own personal version of Chris Hemsworth, Gal Gadot, or Zendaya. Not only would you have someone to talk to, but you'd have someone to look at. But just be careful, there could be some weird side effects. A recent study found that genetically identical twins have different personalities. Could this mean that your clone would not be the same as the celebrity you based them on? Perhaps, but who knows? Maybe you'll end up with an even better version of them. You could have a clone family. We all know that families can be complicated. Sometimes you just wish you could start over with a simpler family tree. With cloning, you could have a clone of yourself as your spouse and clone children. You could even have a clone pet. It's the perfect family. No arguments, no disappointments. Everyone is exactly the same. Sounds too good to be true. If cloning became normal, the world population would increase dramatically. As we mentioned earlier, the cloning process is inefficient. Only a small percentage of clones survive the process. But if we could improve the efficiency of cloning, we could grow our population by a lot. This could be good news for the human race. We're currently facing a global pandemic, and our population has reached almost 8 billion people. Scientists predict that the population will continue to grow until around 2050, when it will start to decline. Having more people around isn't always a bad thing. More people means more innovation. More people means more scientific discoveries. More people means more progress. Okay, it might become easier to find a compatible organ donor. One of the biggest problems with organ transplants is finding a donor who is compatible. Sometimes a person has to wait months for a compatible organ. If you could clone yourself, you could grow a new organ for yourself whenever you needed it. You wouldn't have to worry about rejection or being on a donor list. Just make sure you have enough time to grow the organ. Once it's ready, you'll have to harvest it from your clone. Sure, it's a bit dark, but at least you'll have a new kidney. If cloning became normal, there would be a lot of unhappy people. For starters, your clone would be seen as property. They'd be created for a specific purpose and wouldn't be allowed to live their own life. They'd be harvested for their organs. They'd be forced into dangerous situations so their owner could live vicariously through them. Some people would see clones as nothing more than a servant. They'd be treated poorly and taken advantage of. Others would see clones as a threat. They'd worry that their clone would take their job or be better at everything they did. Some people would simply be jealous of their clone. They'd envy the life their clone could live or the things their clone could do. Ultimately, if cloning became normal, there would be a lot of unhappy people. If cloning became normal, the world would become much more complicated. With all the extra people, there would be more crime, more poverty, and more war. There wouldn't be enough resources to go around. The world would become a much darker place. It's hard to imagine how cloning could become normal without causing all these problems. The world simply isn't equipped to handle that many people. You could get lost in a crowd of your clones. Have you ever been in a crowd of people and suddenly felt like you weren't really there anymore? Like you were just a face in the crowd? If everyone could clone themselves, this feeling would become all too familiar. There would be so many people who look exactly alike that it would be hard to find anyone. Imagine going to a party and seeing 100 people who look exactly like you. It would be confusing and overwhelming. You'd feel like you had no identity. You'd feel like you were just one of many. That's not a very fun feeling. If cloning became normal, it would be hard to find love. If everyone could clone themselves, it would be hard to find anyone who was truly special. Everyone would look the same. There wouldn't be any diversity. Everyone would be a clone of someone else. People would be so desperate for love that they would clone someone just to have someone to love them. But even then, the relationship would never work out because everyone was the same. There would be no one to love. If cloning became normal, people would stop appreciating the uniqueness of life. If everyone could clone themselves, people would stop appreciating the uniqueness of life. Everyone would be replaceable. No one would be special. Life would have no meaning. It would be a dark and depressing world. If cloning became normal, it would change the world as we know it. The world would become overpopulated. There would be more crime, more poverty, and more war. It would be a dark and depressing world. So, should we allow cloning? The answer is probably not. Cloning is a powerful technology that should not be messed with. It has the potential to change the world as we know it. So let's just leave it alone. Now watch. Should you clone yourself? Yes or no? Or check out why everyone will die in 2023. Or check out this video instead.